We are Social Blade.
I was listening to a podcast, and I know I talk about Mitch Joel's podcast a lot, but this one actually really is relevant to a lot of the stuff that we're doing here on Social Blade, or trying to evolve into. And I know a lot of you are trying to start, either you're blogging for yourself or you're really trying to get into it. I've just personally started blogging for myself, putting my thoughts on paper. And some of the problems that I'm having is I keep self-editing myself, and I have that internal editor that I can't turn off in terms of coming up creative ideas all the time, and it hinders my ability to write. So I was listening to this podcast, and it caught my eye, and it talks about Mark Levy in his new book, Accidental Genius. And he's talking with Mitch Joel about this book, Accidental Genius, and the idea behind it is, we think of our best ideas, or we think our best ideas are found through linear logic, straight A, B, C, D logic, and how actually, in truth, the great ideas are only logical ideas. Or let me back up. We think great ideas are only logical in hindsight because, when we think of something, we have to take two things and collide them together, which is really when we're always traveling, because we have all these things happening at one time. We usually come up with really great ideas. But when we try to sit down and think of something logically, we can't, because we think in this A, B, C, D logical linear logic that hinders our ability. So he talks about this technique called free writing. And free writing, basically, this technique helps you diverge from your linear thought process. And basically, what you start writing, you just basically diverge to where your mind takes you.
Cat.
If you're exactly. So if you're writing a blog post about Facebook, you diverge into things that are happening during your day, or just wherever your brain is taking you. And what the theory behind it is, when you start to do that, you start to mix and match ideas, and then through those colliding of ideas, you come up with something truly genius, accidental genius.
Phantom of the Opera.
And exactly. Well, that's Tourette's. But one of the things he talks about is, when you sit down trying to list out a number of good ideas, and you stop because you can't think of any more. One of the best ways to do it is just think of a bunch of bad ideas that are either realistic or just outside the realm of reality.
Dig.
And then through those ideas, you mix and match those good and bad ideas, and through that, more ideas come out of it. So it's a really great podcast. It's about an hour long. It continues to go on about turning off our internal editor and really just diving into the realm of the subconscious and just trying to just write without editing yourself. I've to do it, and it really has worked. I would really encourage you guys to check out the podcast. Like I said, it's only an hour of your time, but I think it really lays down a good foundation in terms of getting you to think about things in a different light and to come up with creative ideas and turning off that internal editor that all of us have within us. So,
Can you repeat for Old Boy Chow what was the name of the podcast?
Yeah, I'll link it into the chat room. The podcast is called Unlocking Creativity in Your Accidental Genius with Mark Levy. You can find it on the
podcast. My name is Joel.
Yeah.
This is
I'm linking it into the chat now. But I really encourage you to go check that out.
I have to admit, I can agree wholeheartedly with that. Sometimes, we do these shows. We do. If you ever get to look at our docs, our Google Docs, you'll see that the Google Doc starts off with, it talks to the episode number, which I usually have to check 7 or 8 times prior to going live. But that's the only scripted part of it. It says intro, and then in parentheses, however JD spins it. No joke, no exaggeration. Again, since I'm not joking or exaggerating at all tonight, I find that it's better to not think about it, not plan it, not have any anticipation of what I'm going to say, because when I do, it usually doesn't come out very well. I did it a month ago, and it wasn't nearly as good as just, it's Halloween, don't think about it, just say whatever comes to mind, dude, and let the I know, because the I knows. And,
Plus,
and so I can definitely say that it works out
scripted,
much better that way.
JD, plus when it is scripted, Jeff usually misses his line.
Exactly. We did try to script it one time. We gave Jeff one cue. Okay, Jeff, you have 4 words to say.
You didn't lead in like you did in practice.
You gotta be free thinking. You gotta unleash the secret hidden genius within you, because you have it, brother. You have it.
He hadn't listened to that podcast at that point yet.
You have to believe in yourself. No, that's true. Maybe now, if I say, okay, Jeff, sometime during the show, I'm going to say something to the effect of Dig version 4 is dying, and then your response will be something to the effect of, and you can take it and go any way you want, and say, actually, you know what? We're going to leave it up to you. Whatever comes to mind at that point, just spit it out. We're going to do this live, do an attempted geniusizing of Jeff Kreider live tonight on the show. So something about Dig version 4 going wrong, and then you jump in and bust out with some genius. All right, don't think about it now. Just let it happen.
Okay.
Let it flow. Kind of like what Aaron did with her hair. Let it flow. Be real.
There you go.
Keep it real. No, and that's very interesting stuff as far as creativity, because it goes down to psychology of which side of the brain are you using, what are you tapping into? Are you tapping into your experiences? Are you tapping into your knowledge? Are you tapping into something that you've memorized? I find that you can actually do better if you tap into the first 2 and not the third, because when you go into memorization, it's blah blah blah.
Invading the internet, covering Web 2.0, coast to coast, worldwide, and everywhere in between. This is where you put the social in social media. We are Social Blade.